What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be covering arrows, specifically the best arrow options for bow hunting in 2025. Alright guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're like me and you're getting pumped up, you're getting fired up about deer season. Hopefully you're getting out shooting your bow, tinkering with different arrows, and hopefully getting close to figuring out what you're going to shoot for the 2025 bow season. I know I'm super fired up. This is something that I've spent a lot of time doing, tinkering with different arrows, components, fletching configurations, kind of figuring out what works best for me. And I think that hopefully you can learn something from this, and this will give you a good idea of what might work for you. Just to give you an idea of my specs, I shoot 80-pound Hoyt RX9, 27-inch draw length. And I think when you talk about draw length and draw weight, obviously being on the little bit shorter end of the draw length scale for me puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage as far as kinetic energy goes. And that's something that I really felt like there was something more there for me. Just 3 or 4 years ago, you know, I was shooting 70-pound bows and shooting really light arrows, you know, using the standard components that some of these arrows come with, shooting a 340 spine. And, you know, the accuracy was there, but I just felt like there was more there. I wasn't getting great penetration in certain situations. And so that's when I decided to kind of take a deep dive into this stuff and kind of try to optimize my setup. So I feel like most of these arrows and component builds will work for most people. You know, if you're in that 28, 29-inch draw length shooting 65 or 70 pounds, you'll probably get pretty similar results that I'm getting with 27 inches and 80 pounds. So let's kind of jump into this thing. I want to go over my favorite arrow setups for 2025 bow season. Some of these are brand new to me. They're new arrows in general to the archery industry, and some of them are old tried and true arrow setups. So first arrow option for 2025, this one's tried and true. This one's been out for a while. I tested it heavily last year, killed several deer with it. It's the Victory Rip TKO. This is the 1000th straightness. I believe this is the Elite is what they call this. This comes in at 8.8 GPI, so a pretty light GPI, and we'll talk about why that's important. This is, to my knowledge, kind of one of the first little bit lower GPI 5mm arrows, which is a really good size arrow. It's a good kind of happy medium. You know, we have the 4mm arrows, the 5mm, 6.5. There's a couple other sizes in between, but there's just a lot of really good options for components in the 5mm. So this one's tried and true. I've got this one matched up with actually a hidden insert. This is the Iron Will 100 grain hidden insert, and then I've got it set up with the Easton collar. I think this turns out to be like 19 grains, and then 100 grain field tip. So this is a really good option. This is the AAE IP knock. This comes standard with these arrows. I got it matched up with the Air Razor 26s, I believe these are. So just a really solid setup. You know, most of my arrows I kind of like to be in the 430 to 470 range. It's just a good happy medium of hard hitting power, good trajectory. Most of these speeds I'm seeing are somewhere in the 285 to 305 range. So really good speed, really good trajectory, hard hitting, really good option. Arrow option number 2 for this year. This is another one, tried and true. It's been out for a little while. I tested this all last year as well, shot several deer with it. Really tough arrow, really easy arrow to tune. That's the Easton Axis 4mm long range, match grade set. This arrow comes out to be right above 450. I think it was like in the 456 range for weight. I got it matched up with tack vanes, really like tack vanes. And for components on this, this is the Easton match grade. This is the 100 grain half out match grade, and it's a really, really good component. I'll talk about why it's one of my favorites 100 grain head, like I said, man, this is a hard hitter, really solid option, easy to tune, small diameter, so 4mm really resists wind drift a little bit more than some of the bigger diameter arrows. So really good arrow to look into for 2025. Arrow option number 3. This is one that I'm super pumped up about testing. This is the first time I've gotten my hands on them. You can see I couldn't wait. Last night I kind of built one out as a bare shaft, shot it through paper. So far really impressed with this thing. So this is the Altra. This is the Centrum Premiere. This is a 1000 straight miss 9.06 GPI. So all these arrows, I kind of like that mid-8s to mid-9s on the GPI. I feel like that puts you at a really good happy medium for weight and FOC. And the good news is now we have so many options. Like we have the Victory HLR, which is super light, and you can go all the way up to like the new Full Metal Jacket. I think it's the FMJ Max, a little bit heavier on GPI. So that's the beauty of it, man. We have so many different options for weight, for GPI, for components. But like I said, the Altra, I'm super excited about trying this one. This is a 5mm arrow. Can't wait to throw a broadhead on it, test it out at long range. The components for the Altra, not really sure if I like this Arco system that it comes with. I don't know. It's an interesting setup, so I'll show you if you can see on here. It comes with this little insert that goes in there, and then it's got an O-ring. So I hot melted these in. I'll talk a little bit more about hot melt and why I like it so much. But this little insert goes in, and it's got a little O-ring, and then this little outsert slash sleeve deal kind of goes right over it, and it's kind of like a little incorporated sleeve, if you want to call it that. I don't know. I'm not crazy about having to screw your insert and your broadhead in. You're kind of screwing two different components. But I don't know. We'll test it and we'll see. I think this thing comes in right at like 52 grains, if I'm not mistaken. So I got it matched up with 125 grain tip. And then with the out fletchings, I'll have to go back and remeasure. But I think this one came in the 440s without fletchings. So super excited about testing this arrow. A lot of hype around this thing. They have what they claim is the no spine technology. And basically what that means is you can take this arrow and you can bare shaft tune it, and you can shoot it through paper, and you can spin the nock little by little. You know, you can turn it 1/8 of a turn and shoot it, and it should not change the bullet hole very much. Very little variable in the bullet hole. It should, once you get it tuned, shoot pretty much a bullet hole in any nock positioning. So super excited about this option. Arrow option number 4, and the one that I'm probably the most excited about trying, is the Easton Axis. Excuse me, not Easton Axis, Easton 5.0. I'm pumped. I don't know. This is going to be a little bit lighter arrow than the rest of them. Not by much, but a little bit. This is 8.4 GPI in the 300 spine. The reason why I'm super excited about this arrow is because you're going to be able to build it out, put really good heavy components up front, keep your FOC really high, and then I'll be able to add a lighted nock and a wrap if I want to. Have really good FOC, but still be able to keep the arrow fairly light. This is an arrow that I may look into hunting with the first week in Nebraska, opening week, September. We typically hunt a lot of the big alfalfa fields, and that could mean potentially a little bit longer shot. So lightweight arrow, good FOC, good trajectory. I'm really excited about testing this one and trying a few different fletching configurations and components. Just as important, if not more important than the actual arrow shaft, is using really good components. So there's a lot of options out there for 4mm, 5mm, different weight options, different materials. You got stainless steel, you got titanium, you have aluminum, you have components that you can add weights to. So the first one I want to talk about, these are the ones that I'm shooting in the 4mm Axis. This is the Easton Match Grade Half Out. And basically what this is, I don't know if you can see it on here, but as you can see, you got a little orange O-ring. So that just helps center the the insert into the arrow. It's got the little built-in collar, so you kind of got the best of both worlds. You got a half out, you got a built-in collar. These things seem to spin really true, which is, to me, the most important thing with a component. It doesn't matter how heavy it is, how tough it is. If you put it in the arrow and it doesn't spin true, it's going to be really hard to get arrows to tune, to get broadheads to shoot good at long range. So these have worked really good in the Easton Axis 4mm. Really solid components. I think these come in 4 different sizes. Like I said, this is the 100 grain, and it really kind of helps me achieve good weight, good FOC that I like. So really, really good, solid component. I love it. So another component, if you want to go kind of the simplicity route, which is what I like to do, I'm a really big fan of these. This is the Easton. This is just a 75 grain half out. Really simple. And the thing I like about these, it seems like any arrow that I put these in, I can just slide them in and they just spin so true. They're really tough. This is made out of stainless steel. Obviously, you don't have the ability to put a collar on here, but it's just a really good option. Simple. They spin true. I like them a lot. Another option for half outs, when you're talking about going the half out route, this is a Podium Archer half out. And the benefit to this one is, I believe this one is a 75 grain half out. As you can see, these are threaded in the end. So you can actually take gold tip fact weights. If you want to add weight to these, you can do it. So you just screw it in, stick it in your arrow, really spins true, really tough, good option for a different component. And so another option is your hidden insert options. This is the standard one that comes with the Axis arrows. I believe this one's like 15 or 16 grains. Probably not the best option in my opinion. It will work. I do think that the hidden inserts are really tough. This is what I've been running in the Rip TKO, not this particular one, but Easton makes a brass hidden insert that's a break off that goes between 50 and 75 grains. And then Iron Will also makes hidden inserts. Like I said, I've been running the 100 grain, really, really tough, solid option. The only thing that I don't love about the hidden inserts, and this is probably the reason why I won't run them going forward, is because you guys can comment, let me know what your procedure is, but I just have such a tough time getting these things to seat the same depth. It's almost like you put these things in and you'll let them set overnight. I know you can use different super glues. You can use different epoxies. I think they come with the Easton epoxy, but it seems like you can put these things in and you can set them, and then you'll check them like 2 or 3 hours later and they're all different depths. Like some, I've had them go too deep to where the threads of the broadhead won't grab. Some of them are too shallow. So if you guys got any tips and tricks about seating these at the right depth, let me know. But anytime you're going to go with a hidden insert, it's always a really good idea to go with a collar. Like I said, this is the Easton. This is the #2 collar. And it just really beefs up and toughens the front of that arrow to protect it from any blowouts. So one other really good insert option that I want to talk about is the 5mm half outs by Easton. Really good solid component. I don't have them here with me, but I would definitely look at using these in really any 5mm arrow, but especially the Easton 5.0. I don't have these because this is the 4mm version. I don't have any of the 5mm versions because when I bought these arrows, they were out of stock. So hopefully those will go back in stock for you guys and you can pick them up. But just like the 4mm version, really good solid option. I think the highest they go up to is 75 grain for the 5mm, but really good option for you guys to look into. I wish they made 100 grain. I don't know why they're not making 100 grain 5mm versions, but another really, really good insert to try out. So with the Easton 5.0s, I'm going to go with these 75 grain stainless steel half outs, and I'm going to hot melt these in. I'm a huge fan of hot melt. It just gives you the ability to index your broadheads, index your blades the same as your vanes, keep everything the same, and it sticks really good. I think this stuff works better than most glues. I've never had an insert back out. It's super easy. And if you ever want to change it, all you got to do is heat the end of the arrow up. You can pull it out. You can add weight, change weight. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Money. All right, I'm going to reach out and shoot these things at 60 yards. Got everything built up. Going to do just a little broadhead test. Got everything shooting good with field tips. So I'm running everything with the same fletchings, running everything with the same broadhead, whether it be 100 grain or 125 grain. We're just going to shoot and see if, you know, we can get any kind of a little bit better grouping with one arrow, or a little worse with a different, and just kind of compare them and see what we get. So this ought to be interesting. But first we're going to give the Easton Axis 4mm a shot. See what they do. They performed good last year. Let's compare them to the other ones though. Decent. I'm not sure if this is me. These hit real good. My field tips were hitting a little bit more up here, so I don't know if that could be something in my tune, but we're just looking at, I think these might have hit each other. Uh-oh. I don't know, pretty decent group. Just kind of getting going for the year shooting. So let me put our bighorn back on. All right, arrow number 2, Victory Rip TKO. Let's see what we got. All right, so again, we're seeing 2 arrows grouped really tight, a little bit to the left of where my field tips are hitting, and then we're getting 1 flyer, which could be me, I don't know, but I feel like I'm executing some decent shots. Pretty similar result. I don't know, it could be difference in is something as little as noctuning. We would definitely shoot each arrow bare shafted, you know, before we get ready for deer season, see if we can clean all that up. But that is the results for the Rip TKO. Let's see what we get with the next one. All right, this is the Altra 204. Same thing we're seeing with every single arrow. It seems like we're getting 1 flyer and then 2 that group really tight. This one's good left and right, which I'm not necessarily looking at the impact. I'm more so looking at the group because every arrow weighs different. So it's kind of hard to tune for every single arrow. We're just kind of getting a good average, but that's the strange thing, is that we're getting one random flyer out of each broadhead and then two, because I feel like I'm executing some really good shots. But if I were going hunting and I was going through my arrows and I was tuning, I would make sure to shoot every single one of these, and then obviously I wouldn't put, if I had one that was just a random flyer, I wouldn't put it in my quiver. But the higher impact, I would expect that though, because this one's a good bit lighter than the other two. So I'm interested to go back and look at the other camera and look at the footage and just look at the arrow flight, because I can kind of see from my perspective what I think I'm seeing. But hopefully we can go back and look at the footage and look at the flight and see if, you know, if you get any kind of crazy wobble. I mean, 60 yards are hitting pretty decent, so it shouldn't be anything crazy. But like I said, on that one Ultra, I thought I saw a little bit of dancing to it. So we got one more to test. Let's see what we get. All right, this is the last arrow of the group, Easton 5.0 Q80 Exodus. Let's see how she does. Probably the worst group. I mean, that's the strange thing, is like every single one has had one random flyer, whether it be left, right, high, low. So that's the interesting thing about the whole test, is that you're getting one flyer. But I felt like these flew really good as it. I didn't see any kind of crazy wobble. Everything was nice and true. So it's hard to really say. I mean, I think kind of in closing statements, what I would do is, I think these are all good arrow shafts. I think every single one of these are obviously match grade arrows, very quality arrows, very close in weight. What I would suggest, if you know what I'm going to do going forward and choosing my arrow for this season, is I'm going to choose an arrow shaft based on the weight that I want to achieve, whether that be, you know, something a little bit lighter on my scale, being in the 430 to 440 range, or I could go up a little bit closer, 470, 480, get a little bit closer to 500 if I'm wanting to take shorter shots. But I think I may start out in Nebraska. We hunt these big alfalfa fields, and typically you can kind of have a little bit longer shot, 50, 60 yards if you really need to stretch it out. So I might go on the lower end of that spectrum, a little bit lighter, to get a little bit flatter trajectory. But what I would do going forward is find an arrow that the GPI matches the weight that you want to achieve in a total arrow weight, and then choose quality components. I'm not crazy about the Arco system from Altra. I think when I was spinning those with the broadheads, I got the most wobble, and it just seems like those inserts stick out so far that you can almost pull on and get a little bit of leverage because they're so long. Even the half outs typically are a little bit longer because it sticks your broadhead out so far, but the Ultras just seem so long that it was harder to achieve a good stable spin to get real true broadhead alignment. So what I would do is choose an arrow shaft, whether it be any of the four that we tested, achieve the weight that you want to achieve in the end goal, and then choose good quality components like any of the half outs, the match grade half outs, the hidden inserts, if you want to go that route, and then match it up with a good quality fletching. I think if you're shooting a fixed blade broadhead, I like to go with a little bit taller fletching. I'm not so much worried about how long they are, but I like to get a little bit of height. That seems to steer a fixed blade a little better than anything. So y'all, let us know if you want to see more archery content. Let me know what you want to think. Give me some feedback on this video. Let me know what y'all's setups are, everything you've had success with in the past, what you're thinking about shooting going forward in 2025. So drop a comment, let us know, subscribe to the channel, let us know if you want to see more archery content, and catch y'all on the next one.